There are 7 things that any business website needs if you want to quickly turn your website visitors into paying customers. And in this video, I'm going to run you through all 7 so you can see why you need them and show you some really clear-cut examples so you'll have no doubt how to add each of these to your website yourself. So how long do you think people coming to your website will actually stick around? Luckily, we don't really have to guess. There's a world-renowned user experience research company that did a lot of studies, and they found that 10 to 20 seconds is the answer. That's less time and attention given to your business than most TV commercials. At least commercials have the advantage of popping up over and over again. Unfortunately, your website isn't nearly as lucky, but here's what else they found. Websites that show a clear value proposition can hold people's attention for much longer. And a value proposition is just the unique value that your business offers to customers. It's what sets you apart from your competitors and gives people a reason to choose you. And this sounds like a big no duh, right? But ask yourself, are you really doing this? Or are you saying things like, welcome to our website, or we're the #1 choice, or pretty much just, introducing yourself?
It's me. Hi.
Those aren't value props, my friend. They're placeholders at best, and they're terrible at grabbing attention. So what works better? How can you create a value proposition that means something to your site visitors and gives them a real reason to stick around and learn more? Well, start by thinking about your target audience and what they're looking for. What problems do they have, and how does your business solve them? What benefits can you offer that your competitors can't, don't, or just don't really talk about? What doesn't work so well here is using industry jargon or buzzwords that may confuse or turn off your potential customers. And when it comes to using your value proposition on your website, you want to lead with it right up top. Then add to that with a really clear benefits section slightly further down the homepage. Again, be extremely clear and use visuals or other design elements to make it stand out. Now, the next must-have we have on our checklist is something that most businesses don't do very well with, probably just because they're copying the mistakes of other websites that they're looking at for, inspiration when they're planning theirs. So if you've seen the Blair Witch Project, it does a great job of showing you why getting lost in the woods is bad, right? They were having a pretty bad weekend, I'd say, because they didn't have a clear path ahead of them. So do all your site visitors a favor and just keep them on the path, and you can do that with clean and easy navigation. What works best here is a 2-prong approach. First, I like to lay out my home pages almost as if there were no other pages on the site at all. I like to lead them down a nice, clear, linear path all the way from top to bottom, giving out the right information in the right order so they don't really even need to visit other pages unless they really want to. They'll still get enough information to make an informed choice. But for those that do want a deeper dive into something more specific, I keep the top navigation to only the bare essentials that are going to lead someone to a conversion. Things like an About Us page, pricing, FAQs, and testimonials. Everything else that isn't as sales focused, like your blog, your community involvement, team bios, that kind of stuff, that can all be demoted down to the footer navigation. That way it's there for people who really want it, which isn't very many people, to be honest, but it's not cluttering up the path for your more serious, ready-to-go prospects. So there's a business called FreshBooks. They actually used to be a sponsor on my old podcast, and I remember they made one simple change on their website that increased signups for their service by 20%, just based on this one thing. All they did was add a prominent testimonials section right there on their homepage. They featured quotes from satisfied customers along with their names and photos, which is really how you should do it too if you possibly can. And that's because whenever you can include a customer photo with a testimonial, it brings it out of the realm of, some faceless person behind a computer screen. And suddenly, this is a real person who believes in their words enough to publicly stand behind them. That's the basic psychology behind why it works so well. So maybe you already have reviews online, like on Google or Yelp, or even maybe on your Facebook page. You may even have some on your website, but if they're not on the homepage yet, just pick your best 3 to 5 that do the best job, either telling a short story of transformation, like this is where I was before and this is where I am now. Those kinds of testimonials are gold. Or they should at least really hit on a result or a benefit you delivered. Include the image and a visual of 5 stars so they really read as testimonials. And you're set. So I do these one-on-one coaching calls with small business owners from time to time, and when they schedule, I ask them to let me know the big thing that they want to address when we speak. And 9 times out of 10, they want more conversions, right? They want more people who land on their website to actually schedule a consult or book an appointment. Great, so then I get to the website for our call, and it's like, what's missing here? If I wanted to schedule something on your website, could I? Is it easy, or do I have to hunt around for a way to do it? If your website's missing a prominent call to action button, you are missing out on sales. But you want to do it right to get the most out of it, so let's just do a rapid fire Wes's pro tips when it comes to calls to action. So first, style it like a button, not just a text link. Studies have shown doing it that way can increase sales by 45%. Put it right up top in what we call the hero section, right underneath your headline. Then repeat it multiple times throughout the page. That can increase clicks by 220%. Be specific with the phrasing. Book my free consultation is gonna perform way better than contact us or learn more. And make all your call to action buttons identical everywhere they appear on your whole site. Same color, same phrasing, same size, shape, all of it. Consistency is really key when it comes to increasing those conversions. So way back in the 50s, TV stars would often do their own commercials. So like Lucy would stop being Lucy Ricardo and suddenly just be herself during commercial breaks, talking directly to the camera. And when this happened, psychologists Horton and Wohl discovered something really interesting. People watching would feel a connection to her as if she were a close friend that they knew in real life. It created something they called a parasocial relationship, a one-sided friendship between the viewer and the person on screen. So what's that have to do with your website? Well, the thing is, you don't have to be a celebrity for this to work for you too. You know, if you were to add video on your website, ideally where you're talking directly to the camera like I am now, you can start to build a bond with your audience. That'll not only make you more memorable to them and the go-to person in your field they think of when they need a business like yours, but I can tell you firsthand, it makes the closing process much, much easier because they already feel like they know you, and that familiarity breeds a lot of built-in trust. And that's just one reason to include video on your site. Video can also lead to people staying on your page longer. It can do a great job at giving people the information they need to feel more confident to take action. Not to mention, it can be a really good way to get some extra SEO points with Google. When I used to do web design for clients, I did have a prominent call to action button. I mean, I was a web designer, right? So I knew that much, but when people clicked on it, here's pretty much what they'd get. A form to fill out where I would just ask some basic information, and from there, it was up to me to reach back out to them to start that sales conversation. So I'd email them back, and then we'd try to get something on the calendar to actually have a phone or Zoom call. Actually, it was more like Skype back in those days, whatever happened to that. But anyway, there'd be some back and forth, and a whole lot of prospects just dropped off as a result of there not being anything concrete on the schedule. But what I discovered a few years later changed all that, and it's still what I use to this day, a direct booking tool. I happen to use Calendly. There's a completely free version of it that works perfectly well. You just configure it to sync with your online calendar, and you tell it what days and times that you're generally available and willing to take these calls. Then it coordinates with what's on your calendar already, so you'll never get double booked. And then when someone schedules a meeting with you, that meeting goes on your calendar too. And this is such an upgrade over that simple form because it just cuts out all that tedious middle part where you have to go back and forth. figuring out, what time works best, or the part where you just call them out of the blue and they're dropping the kids off at school, whatever. And this just embeds right on your website, super easy. But the thing is, not everyone coming to your website today is ready to schedule something. 96% of your site visitors are just in checking it out mode and, filling out your form, emailing you, calling you, just aren't on the table for them today. But guess what they're much more likely to do in those early stages that can lead to more of them getting their questions answered and ultimately becoming clients? Live chat used to be a nice to have, but if you're a small business trying to compete, you really can't afford to ignore it. This one simple addition can give you a really serious advantage over the other guys who aren't using it. And there are a ton of apps you can integrate into your site for live chat, but I have two that I like best. First of all, Facebook Messenger. It seamlessly works with your Facebook business page right on your website, and you're gonna get alerts of new chats right on your phone inside the app, which makes it super easy to answer in real time, not to mention you can then actually retarget those people with offer ads to get them to come back. But my favorite live chat tool is the one that I personally use on my sales pages, and it's called Warm Welcome. This does the average live chat one better because it uses video. So you're on my sales page and then, hey, virtual me just pops up welcoming you to the page and says if you have any questions, just ask below and I'll get right back to you personally. And I do. And the cool thing is they can ask with simple text, video, or audio. And here's my little trick. I'm not gonna do video every time I respond to a question, but I will absolutely do audio every time. And that's crazy powerful when it comes to relationship building, not to mention it's actually easier to just record a quick response than it is to type one out. It's a win-win that way. And nearly everyone who asks a question and I respond to like that ends up purchasing my program. So it works. And the next thing your website needs is a plan to persuade visitors, and a plan for the content that you need to help you do that. And my free masterclass, the Automated Clients on Demand Website Blueprint, will help you with all of it and a whole lot more. So click right here to sign up and I'll email you your on-demand video training right away. It's gonna fill in all the gaps for you with nothing left out. So click here and I'll show you what I mean.